Hey everybody, I'm Tommy, and you are on the lifeboat. What are we doing here? Hold on a second. I'm getting reverb. Okay, can I get a 5x5 from anybody? Kestrel, how are you? Did I see the breaking news about Jay-Z? No, what happened? Come on now. Come on now. I'm kidding. Yes, as a matter of fact, I did. And you know what? We theorized on this. This really isn't a new case. This is those are the two people standing in the corner. But you're going to hear a lot about that coming up. Mariana Wagner, good to see you. Netherwood Mullenix.
Oh, yeah.
Rosanna Dana. Love it. Roberta, what's happening? Watermelon Moonshine. Rosanna Dana. Hey, you a handsome guy. Crash Zoe, good to see you. Chicka Cherry Cola. What's happening? Legal LiveWire. Never heard of him. Damn, holy hell, it starts early. I love you guys. Look at that. People turning green all over the place. Layla. Good to see you, Layla. You got me on my knees. Allison Metcalf Palumbo, how are you? I'm glad you're here. Karatish. Kristen Melinda, there she is. American Mac. Where's good old James? You know, it's interesting you asked that because I don't know who James is. But wherever he is, I hope he's doing well. There he is. He's right there. James Collins, how are you? Terry LeBron, good to see you. Jamie Palmer. Meredith Lynn, doing all right? Good to see you, Meredith Lynn. Incarnasoul Snake. Jane Aldrich says 5x5, so I'm only about 2 minutes behind. More of a guy. JCP. It's a good thing that I got a 5x5. You know how many times I've done that? And then like the thing comes up and it's like, nah, we can't hear you. You can't hear you. Like, shit. I'm doing that for 20 minutes. James Collins Cares has got us all faked out. It's the head fake. He's got a new avatar. Just Joan, good to see you. What's up, Kim? Kim Roy. Another Kim. Incarnasoul, good to see you. All right, we can almost get this boat underway. You had two lives scheduled, so people are now coming over to this one. Well, you gotta love that. I shut the other one down. Spanky Calhoun, he'll take care of it. You know what happened is I sent the stuff over to my engineer, but I didn't. The phone guy got that message that says the phone's not currently on at the moment. So I was like, all right, screw it. I'll do it myself. We'll do it live. And then when I went over, I realized he had already done it anyway. So I'm not very bright. Carolina, Canada, good to see you. Helena Flock of Swan Boats. Wow, that was getting out. And from Massachusetts, good to see you. Sherry LeBron. It is cool. It's the three of us doing it now. Diane, how are you? Me and my cats. There you go.
Yes.
Armine.
I'm happy we're all three doing it too.
It is, you know. Great Dane Mom, Linda G, Feisty Kitty, Mother Bird, 63. I hope I don't miss anybody, but if I miss you, you know that I missed you. Damn, we are your favorite trio. I love that. How cool is that? Teresa Clay, good to see you. How about that? Every once in a while, man. Even a blind squirrel will come across an acorn or something like that. That's something to do with a squirrel and an acorn, though. Heard an old guy say it in the jerk. It was Rudy the Brute, and no, I'm kidding. Arabian Bard, good to see you, Jason Truth. Boho Hobo, or BH for the rest of the day, because I never get that right. Russ Allen's here. Good to see you, Russ. Tommy Berg, what's up? Wolford Harry, how are you? So the way this works, if you're new to this, the way this works is you put up some cues, like 3 of them preferably. Q. That will let us know you're asking a question. And more likely than not, if there are a bunch of them coming in, I can pick them off and star them and we can get back to them. But if you have any questions, you've got guys that have done both state and federal time. And between the 3 of us, we've done a lifetime. Jesus, that is stuff, isn't it? We really have, though. If you took all 3 of our sentences combined, it's probably pretty close to our age.
Yeah. Close to over half a century, yeah.
Let's change the subject. Zal Storm, good to see you.
Yeah.
You brought up that dumb crap, man. What's the matter with you? Right? It was all fun and games. 2 minutes later.
Somebody had to say something.
Exactly. All fun and games. Started running the suckhole. Should have left the old the neck. The neck stopped working. Hold on a second.
Probably not the side of your neck. That's funny.
Could we trouble you for a quick intro? Amount of time, what, for, etc. for the newbies. That's very intelligent. It's good you have people here, especially when your head's in the crapper. I'm not going to lie to you, my head's in the crapper. Let's see if we get my friend here. Hold on. Looks like I have a phone call. Hello. No, I didn't get it. All right.
Are we answering that?
Yes. I'll start with you, Casper.
So I did about 18 altogether, and it was for conspiracy to drug traffic. And then when I got out, and there was a conspiracy to commit murder in the beginning, but it got thrown out because the guy who was murdered, he was found. They had him getting in my truck, and then he was found dead in a field in Greeley, Colorado. But what the prosecutor didn't know was that I dropped him off at a bar. But what the DEA knew is that I dropped him off at the bar. So fortunately, his wife, who was the bartender at that bar, said that I never dropped him off. But the DA is like, no, she's lying. He did drop him off that day. And so fortunately, I got out of that. I barely knew the guy. I had no reason to kill. To kill someone over drugs or money is dumb.
Hey, tell it to the judge, bro. We're not.
Yeah. Anyway, so then, yeah. But then when I was on probation for the drug trafficking, I picked up a counterfeiting charge, and then did 14 months or something like that. So,
alrighty. Russ.
What up? I did all my time in county and state, about 10 years and actually 10 years on the day in California. And then I did 3 in Indiana. A lot of county time, mostly for fighting, drugs, being an idiot, robbing.
You know what? I had a PhD in being an idiot and robbing. Oddly enough,
I think we all did.
Yeah, all of my crime has been stealing. It's in stealing one way or the other. I shouldn't say it. The last one, I got caught selling weapons, pew-pews. But right?
Yeah, sucker.
So bad. Honestly, to go in with a 912 and a 924 is just bad. But here's the deal. It was the ultimate entrapment. If you're a lawyer, get a hold of this one. I bought the weapons from somebody that was working with the FBI. And then I sold the weapons to someone who was working with the FBI.
Really?
I'm not even joking. When the judge gave me shit, he's like, "You're not worried about these ending up back on the street?" I'm like, "I bought them from you and sold them to you, boss."
Yeah, that's on you.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
But altogether, not counting county time, because that county time starts. It's hard to keep track of county.
Yeah.
In the early days, you get spun dried in there for 60 or 90 days, 180. You start losing track of that shit. But probably about 15, I think, altogether. In the pen, inside, like behind the wall, I did 13. I'm sure I got at least 2 years in county. Although when I say I got 13 in, I count those prison sentences to all of the county time going into it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because when you go to the feds, you're going to do 16 months in the county jail before you get hauled off. They're pretty vicious with how they do things. It just kind of sucks. Yeah. All right, we got some more questions already. Wait a second. What is this? This is the first time hearing of this. Are we going to discuss Jay-Z being named in a lawsuit by Busby for rape of a 13-year-old girl? Here's the question. Because allegedly, it's Jay-Z and Diddy. Allegedly, it's Jay-Z and Diddy. Now, if there's any truth to that, then this is probably the same case, right? Where a 13-year-old, because the age is the same, the 13-year-old said, "I bet Busby gave this cat a shot to shut them up for a little while," and he balked, and now Busby's like, "You know what? Screw it." Guess who else was there? Jay-Z was there, and you know what? It's going to be interesting to see who the lady is, because there was a lady allegedly in there.
I'm curious about that.
You got to figure it's got to be probably Bebe. The only other one, Aaliyah went to some of those parties before she died. It could have been, but I don't want to be smutting anybody up. Right. It could be anybody. DS Kitty Diane. I watched Shot Caller on Netflix today. Intense movie. Wasn't that the one supposed to be a movie that was more true life prison film? Yeah, that's what I heard.
Felon was a good one.
Felon was a good one.
Felon was Val Kilmer. That was about Corcoran. They made a movie about that.
Yeah.
And they should. Oh, good question.
Yeah, that Shot Caller was a good movie.
Yeah.
40-inch blades on the Impala. I couldn't pass that up, Kona.
Oh, I love this question. I love this question because as a tattoo artist, I get asked that question a lot. And that indeed, have you done your own tattoos? I don't regret any of my tattoos, but I wish I didn't have any tattoos, if that makes any sense.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I really wish I didn't have tattoos on my hands and then my neck. I don't, and on my arms for that matter. And if I could do it all over, I would probably like have maybe something for my grandmother and my mom, just those something that means something to me.
Right.
But I really don't have anything that means anything to me anymore. It's all stuff. Yeah. So, but to regret them, I don't know.
You're not walking around with swastikas all over the place, though, are you?
I am. Actually.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I am actually.
On the bright side, there's not any of them that are larger than that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
At least the last time I saw them, they were only about 8 inches.
Yeah,
by 8
my
inches.
smallest one is this big, I think.
Do you have big
here's the thing.
or something?
You're the least Nazi of any human being I've ever met.
I know, man, and that's what I'm a walking contradiction.
Wasn't it your sister-in-law who was visiting you when I was in the visiting hall that time? Don't you have isn't your sister-in-law Jewish? I remember going back to visit.
Yeah. I do have a sister-in-law that's Jewish. Yeah.
I remember talking to you and after a visit and going, is she Jewish? And you're like, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
And she's my favorite person in the world.
I know the two of you really get.
I never really got into like the not liking Jews part. It was more like they're trying to kill me, so let's kill them.
I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I get it. And then unfortunately it becomes, I have a better idea. Let's do a bunch of dope and kill each other.
yeah. That's what it is. Kill
A lot of
Whitey.
kill Whitey going on, man. A lot of white on white crime.
A lot of white on white crime. Yep.
A lot of white on white crime, man. Hey, Miss Dragon, good to see you. There is another female celebrity named Bill Herrera. I cannot back that up, but I promise you, we will be backing it up shortly.
You guys are all over it.
Oh, I promise you.
Oh yeah. American History X was a good movie.
Sorry.
But it wasn't true.
Yeah, and I have that same tattoo as him. And when it came out, people who met me afterwards, like, oh, you got that just like American. No, I was like, no, well, technically he got it because I have it. Like,
no question. No question.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I got something worse than that. So I had a tattoo on the middle of my back for a really long time.
A trans fat? Barbed wire.
So, no, it's way worse. I'm not even gonna tell you. It's embarrassing. And if you know what, because you guys have done time, you'll probably know as soon as I start talking, you're gonna be like, I know what you got. I had a thing in the middle of my back that came off of someone's thesis, a very famous
Oh wow.
psychologist used it for a design on something that he wrote on a page in one of his theses, and then a magazine literally bought it from the estate and made it their symbol. And so I had it in the middle of my back for a really long time. And then all of a sudden people would be like, hey, isn't that the such and such symbol? And I was like, cover that thing. Get that off. Like, I want that off of my back. But as far as my other tattoos, I mean, I even have like, I have things that if I told you what I had, you'd be like, oh, you got to regret that. And I don't regret it. I really don't. Because to every one of them, like, I got stuff on my body that I promise you is stupid, that if I could do it over again, I sure as shit would not have on my body. But,
Exactly.
But it reminds me of times in my life and things that I did. And I promise you, there are times where I look at it and go, oh, I'm never going to be that moron again. Like, that dude is so dead. And without that, I might forget it. And that would be a bad thing. Here's a funny one for you guys. Have either of you guys, are you aware of any syringes in prison? Have you seen any syringes in prison?
Binkies everywhere.
I was about to say, there are no syringes in prison. There's a hell of a lot of binkies, though.
Yeah.
No, you know what? You buy a syringe from, here's what happens. The diabetics have to get a insulin shot. And every once in a while, they'll catch someone slipping. You know, the person behind the counter is slipping. Or somebody working in medical will just stick their hand into that little red box.
Or fish one out. I was just gonna say I used to fish them out. I would make a thing that would hook the plunger. It would just hook the plunger and I would pull it out. Yeah.
These guys literally fish used ones out of a.
Oh, in a second.
Now, in Victorville was so out of control, bro. When I was at Victorville, you could get a brand new rig in a package for $50.
Yeah,
unopened, ready to go. And I've been on
West Coast.
Like 50 or like a 25, real skinny, or was it the bigger one?
No, they were they were 30s. They were they were the longs, which meant that that's 2.5, 3 years of sharpening.
I was just gonna say
same yard.
Oh yeah.
They're leaning in the guy like this, trying to.
You know what? Not to glorify it or anything, but since we're on the subject, you know what I loved about binkies though? They would flag themselves. Yeah.
I knew exactly what you were going to say.
Yeah, they would flag themselves. Yeah. You're like, oh, I'm in.
It's done. I don't have anything to worry about. No, they're a lot easier to use, but you have to be kind of have been a convict to think that. Like, if you say to somebody, it's way easier to use one of these, they go, you flipping degenerate. Because here's what happens, folks. You buy one of these things, and we're not glorifying this. This isn't the drug show. This is absolutely the prison show, but this is how it works. You buy a rig, and this rig is never going to be thrown out, ever. You have to understand, this syringe will be used until the second coming or until the cop finds it, right? There's no other option. They're never getting thrown out. And what happens is eventually, first the numbers wear off the outside of it. You know what I mean? When you see the rig and there's no longer any numbers on the outside, right? And the needle's done this one a few times. They've straightened it back out. And then inevitably it'll start to clog and they will have to pull that needle out to get it to work. Then that needle will go into a plastic Bic pen, right? They will melt the tip of a plastic Bic pen down onto that. God. And then you build a little bulb on the back side of it, or you actually build it with a little plunger. I've seen some incredible inventions.
The milk, you know the white hose that's on the milk.
On the milk bag?
Yeah, those are perfect, man.
That is the best.
Yeah.
Put a rubber band at the top, a little plug in it.
Yeah.
Just, I'm sorry again. Not to glorify, but
it's the prison show.
How many of you guys ever go to the doctor and get a shot and try to taste it?
Every single time.
I give myself shots 3 times a week. And you would think, I mean, I don't get like really effed up about it.
Euphoric recall every single time.
Yeah.
You know why? Think about how many times that the needle broke your skin and then your brain went, sweet, and released the chemicals. And this has been studied ad nauseum, right? There's 2 components to every addiction, and one of the component is the drug itself. And the other component is what your brain does. It's a malfunctioning reward center of the brain that starts to reward you for doing stupid shit instead of doing stuff that makes any sense at all. And that's really, that's where we come down on. That's why some people get addicted and some people don't. I mean, truthfully, that's what it comes down to. If your brain says to you, hey, that was the most important thing you ever did in your life. Right there. That was it. Like, that's more important than your kids. It's a chemical reaction. Literally, the first time you bang at home or the first time you smoke it or snort it or whatever it is that has your number, the same brain chemicals that got released when they came in and handed you your baby the first time. I'm not joking. And you bond to that chemical in the same way. It's terrifying. It really is. It's an ugly thing. And you watch that inside. There's never any place that you see it worse, because people will, like, I'll be honest, since we're all friends here, I had a friend in prison whose rampant alcoholism would have scared the hell out of you. If they had put this dude in the hole and gave him nothing to eat, he would have figured out to make a way to make wine within about 2 to 3 weeks. Now I know that.
Yeah.
Because I lived with that dude. No, you had a bit of a drinking problem. For real. Like, he got locked in the shoe and he's like, hey, man, when they pull us out to shower, if one dude doesn't leave to shower, they're never going to be able to come in and search this place.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's nothing in here to find, dude. He's like, there will be. Started buying those mints. What the hell are those?
Yeah.
Starlight mints.
Oh, yeah.
No, but that's true. And like, that's true, man. I really did have a drinking problem in there. And a buddy of mine at Terre Haute, he's like, Casper, he's like, you live here in here like you're on the streets. You drink every day. You get high. You go have fun. Go play softball. You're doing lines on the, whatever. He's like, you literally live like you're on the streets. And it set me back for a second. I was like, man, I really do. But you know what? I I had a good time. For the most part.
You have to do what you can. This is something that they don't realize. If they did prison correctly, right, we would live in a very different world. But they don't do prison correctly. So what happens is you take a lion and stick him in a cage, right, and leave him in there for 4 or 5 years, and you're going to have to shoot him. You can never do that. That animal will never be able to be normal ever again if you keep it caged. It's not a whole lot different with people. And unfortunately, they do warehouse cats. You want to hear something absolutely disturbing? I was born in 1970. Tell me that's not absolutely disturbing. No, I'm kidding. In 1970, if you took every single convict in America in 1970 and compared it to the number of convicts in the U.S. today who are doing life, there are more people in the U.S. today doing life than there were doing time at all in 1970. That includes
so crazy.
County jails, prisons, halfway houses. That's everyone who was incarcerated at any level. That's terrifying. It really is
super terrifying, dude. That's so crazy.
Yeah, we're out of control in this country.
It's ugly,
wildly
man.
out of control. Did y'all see the Netflix show about prisons in Arkansas prisons? You guys ever do any time in Arkansas?
No, but I'm gonna write it down and watch it tonight.
I found it interesting and wanted your opinions. It's called Unlocked. I will check that out too. You know what's great about those shows? They're shot with one friggin' camera. That is a big deal for me. I have to. My brain can't handle other stuff, but the one camera stuff I'm fantastic with. How do you feel about the death penalty?
I think some people deserve it.
Oh, hell yes. I think they give it to the wrong people, if you really want to know the truth.
The only thing
is the wrong people most times.
I absolutely think a child molester should get death, especially if he's
doesn't more than once.
One that keeps doing
they all keep doing
it.
Yeah, there is no cure. But
there are guys who will drop out of society. There's actually a guy that had a YouTube channel that it got taken down. But there was a guy who was a chomo, a convicted chomo, and he got out and went, to the boondocks. Like just moved away from everybody on planet Earth so that there was, no temptation, no anything. And
But there's so many people getting off with DNA. Do you know what I mean? Off death row. That freaks me out. You know what I mean? Okay.
They're estimating. If this is the scariest shit. I'm sorry, but they estimate what % of people in prison in the U.S. might be innocent. Have you ever heard this?
9% or something like that.
6%. 6 out of every 100 people. I have never gone to prison for something I didn't do. I cannot mother love and imagine. Can you imagine sitting in a prison cell for something you didn't do? Now,
no.
Let's keep it real though. This gets glossed over when people say shit like this though. The stories that are such shockers that we're always so blown away about are stories where the guy that got arrested's never done anything wrong before. Because usually, if a person's in prison for something they didn't do, it's like that guy that pled guilty to the bank I robbed.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't do that because he wasn't a scumbag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he did that because he'd been going hard to the paint for a real long time and just thought, hey, with my record, man, if I get hemmed for this, I'm doing 25. Like that's the guy that did a lot of dirt.
I told myself, I was like, I just thought about all the felonies I got away with. And so this 15 years, whatever, to 18 years, I was like, I'm good with it. I'm going to go do my time. I got it coming. I knew that's what the risks were when I started doing it. And we're all committing when you're dealing drugs or doing drugs, you're committing a felony every day, if not 10 felonies, you're buying stolen merchandise from, boosters, whatever you're doing, you're committing felonies.
I was the committer of felonies. I sat down once in prison and tried to run through the average day of a junkie. And you're pulling 12 or 13 felonies a day. You know what I mean? You're misrepresenting stuff to go buy syringes. You're like all the different things that you're doing that you can get popped for. And you're usually riding around with a piece. You just start getting really out of control. It spirals really quickly. Well, thank you so much, Bo. Hobo. You look fantastic in green. This one's for Casper. Bill Herrera says, how do you get it? How do you get ink in prison? And do you have colors? Well, for $100, I can get you a bottle.
Yes, we do have colors. There's these man, what's the name of them again? Anyways, you can buy the shaker pens. There's actual pigment paint in them, and I can't remember the name of them right now.
I can't either, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and the colors weren't too bad. And and then the ink, we would make a candle from petroleum oil, jelly, Vaseline petroleum jelly from Vaseline. And make a candle, make a wick out of some toilet paper, stuff it in, light it, and then catch the soot either in a cone. I would usually make a cone with like a envelope, like a manila envelope, cut the bottom and make a cone and put a piece of paper on top. And then that soot that would come up would just like catch. And then you take that chunk of soot and I would break it down with coffee. I learned that later in my business. People use toothpaste. Yeah.
The coffee's essential. And it has to be the Keefy Big Crystals.
Yeah, but check this out. In Texas, guess what they use to break down the soot? You'll never guess. Urine.
Piss, dude. Yeah. You know something? Piss gets used for so much stuff in prison that's so disturbing.
I remember.
How about when you write home, you want a letter to get through, right? You want a letter to get through. You write in piss.
Yeah,
right? And then you let that dry, and then you write everything else. And when they get it home, they're getting slick. They catch all that stuff. But so just for the record, I made a little ink. That was my hustle that whole last time I was down because I didn't want to break. Once I got sober, I wasn't trying to run poker tables. I wasn't trying to do every hustle that I had done in prison. You know what I mean? Like I was always breaking the rules one way or the other. I figured of all of that crap, making ink probably wasn't too bad. I would get a Coke can, cut the top off, fill the entire thing with hair gel, and I would spin line just like we used to in the hole. But I'd spin it about that fat and make a wick out of it and put that down the middle. And I would light that bad boy up, and I would put a box from saltine crackers over the top of it. Yeah. And cut 4 holes in the bottom, little chokes. I found over time that if you closed one, you know what I mean? Like you could regulate how fast that baby burns. Yeah. And then on the top, I used to get those patches for my back, those lidocaine patches. Yeah. And that stuff is lined on the inside with thick ass foil. You can actually smoke tar off it. Like it's thick foil.
Oh, wow.
And I would jam that thing on the top, and that's what would catch all of the soot. And man, I would get a bottle like this. I'm not kidding you. And it would take 30 days to get that crap to break down. I would just be sitting there with rocks in it, just beating the crap out of it, paying my celly too.
Yeah.
I made a lot of ink. What's this? Jay-Z got added to the, yes, he did. And we will be talking. Right before we went live, we were talking about this. There's other things that idiots do to make colors. I bet neither of you have ever seen anybody burn a checker, have you?
Oh yeah.
No, that's pretty big in California.
Yeah, that's disgusting, dude.
Yeah. Chess pieces, chess pieces.
That's a big thing in California.
Yeah,
I used to do.
Yep.
And being a trustee or a porter, there'd be
porter.
There'd be bottles flying everywhere. Yeah.
How popular is it to black out tattoos now? It's kind of. I think I've done one this year, and I tattoo every day. So it just depends. I know I'm gonna schedule a blackout tattoo for my arm just because it is blacked out already, but with like 10 different kinds of ink, prison ink, different kinds of prison ink, and then some street ink. But it's not too popular up here in Montana. I know in LA it's super popular. I do think it looks cool if it's done right. I think it looks super cool.
Just like tribal and stuff like that. Big blocks of it. Okay.
Yeah, they make a special ink now that's just for blackout, and it's amazing, man. Yeah. It's amazing.
How dark it is.
But the last blackout tattoo I had scheduled was like a month and a half ago, and the guy didn't show up. Right, he didn't show up, and so I let him keep his deposit, and I booked him again, and he didn't show up again. And the first time I set up completely, had the ink poured, had the cartridges out, and the cartridges are like this wide. They got like 76 needles in it. And I was all set up, ready to go. Got some of that new ink, and he didn't show. And then I rescheduled him. He didn't show again. yeah, I don't know what happened to the dude, but I guess he decided he wasn't going to get it blacked out.
Yeah.
That's all I got to tell you about that.
That's all I got to say about it. I've watched. I've seen some people do the big blackout stuff and then lay white over the top of it. I've seen some pretty cool stuff. But
yeah, that
seems like a wicked commitment, man.
Yeah, that lasts about 2 months. That whiting completely disappears.
It does
completely. Yep.
You know what? I'd be so salty, dude. For instance, I had a really big tattoo on the inside of my lip that's gone, and that hurt.
Like yeah. That's crazy.
I lost a bet for that one, actually.
What about your eyes, Casper? How many people get their eyes tatted?
Some states it's illegal, of course. It's illegal to do that. But I don't do it. I would do it. If I could get taught the right way, not just watch a YouTube video. And I've done
plenty. I can have you figured it out by the morning. Don't trip. I got this.
Yeah.
Come on over here. Bring 2 syringes.
Injecting someone's eyeball. I'm good on that. And it's just
I want to say something. I couldn't watch that be done. Like if you offered me 100 paper, I couldn't watch someone do that. I stood outside the door of a friend of mine that got it done. Like I could not go inside. And I begged this dude. I offered to give him money. I was like, bro, go get 100 paper and get wasted. I'm buying. And his like got really brown. And they said to him, hey, we're going to go back in. And he was like, oh, dude, he looked in the mirror. And it was so awful because the goal is you look like Satan. I mean, honestly, the goal is you look like you don't have a soul. When you look at the eyes are the window of the soul. When it's completely jet black, it's the most disturbing. I mean, I'm telling you, it's creepy.
I know. I've seen guys with it. It's disturbing.
I hate it. The last pen I was at, it was a thing. Like Victorville probably had 2 dozen white boys.
Yeah, those dudes are crazy, man. I see these fools with getting everything tatted, and I mean, I'm sounding like an old curmudgeon right now, but like, man, I see them like, I'm like, dudes, what are you doing, man? And it's usually good-looking dudes. It's not like I'm so ugly, I'm just gonna tat my face, and just be hard. It's like these dudes that could be like, they could be models, you know what I mean?
You know what? Your homeboy. I don't want to put anybody's name out there. But your homeboy from Black Canyon.
Yeah.
That dude was built like a Greek statue.
Yeah.
He really was. And and his work was beautiful. Yeah. I mean the quality of the work was fantastic.
Yeah, I did a lot of different stuff. Yeah. Yeah. I hope he's doing all right.
I do too. Jimmy Buffett said a tattoo is a permanent reminder of a temporary feeling. Boy, ain't that the truth.
I love Jimmy Buffett.
Are you kidding me? 20 lashes or 6 months? 6 months worth of lashes before I do 20 days. Man, get out that lasher, bro. Yeah, I could take that. I'm telling you. Yeah. I'll take a good ass kicking every day.
I don't think I could get like 20 Jerusalem lashes, like with spikes. No, I
don't. The cat and 9 tails, probably not so much.
Yeah.
This is an excellent question from a mixed bag of donuts here.
You pay attention.
How do you learn the tricks of the trade in the joint, like making wine, making fire, etc.? Is it taught by other inmates or lots of trial and error?
That's a great question, man.
It's a great question.
We're getting some good questions
first,
tonight.
The convict or the fire? Somebody had to figure this crap out. It was really the group. Since then.
Because the last time I was in, someone taught me how to sharpen needles with batteries, salt water, and like a cap by putting an electrical charge into the cap with the salt water and just dipping the needle in the water, and it slowly sharpened it.
Really?
Yeah. And I was just like, what? I mean, I just did almost 20 years and I'm behind toilets.
I've seen this. I thought you were going to say the saltwater lighter. Because I've seen that one too. Where they use sodium to make a lighter.
Yeah.
Things people can do to make fire.
Wow.
But the battery thing. So we can do this. We can do this without getting busted. But because they're dicey about this crap. But if you take a battery, right, and scrape a little piece off on the side, that piece of plastic that they put over the outside of the battery is because the entire battery is the same. So they have to make a positive and negative. If you just scrape one little piece off and you take a piece of foil and put it from the scrape on the side to the bottom, that piece of foil will just spark. And if you roll up a piece of toilet paper and put it right over the top of that battery, you will create fire. And the first time I saw somebody do it, I swear to you, it was like they walked on water. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't know how many times, like I would score stuff. I would have dope. I would have things that if I had fire, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or I have cigarettes. I'd be like, oh man, hey, I'm gonna throw you a line. Send me over a burning wick. The dude's like, you got a battery, you idiot?
Yeah.
He's in the window trying to show me what I'm like. I don't know what you're doing, dude.
I've seen wicks though go down the range.
So have I.
On fire.
Make one 38 feet long. Have it go down the floor, back up, down the floor. You walk in, it's just like, oh, what are you doing, dude? I have a lighter. He's just smoking out the entire room. Hey, so in Nevada, you do a fish tank, right?
Mhm.
The fish tank is 60 days of lockdown before they decide where they're going to send you.
Yeah.
And it is lockdown. Like they're not farting around. The first 30 days, you get out 15 minutes every other day. And in that time, you get your mail, you write you mail letters, you make phone calls, and you shower. You got 15 minutes every other day. You are locked down, but you could buy tobacco. And I was telling my brother this story today. My money hit before anybody else's, right? Because I pled guilty of my arraignment. I wanted out of there. So my crap got down there, my cash. So I bought a big bag of 4 aces, half a pound of tobacco, right?
Damn.
And I didn't get a lighter. So
Oh shit.
I didn't have enough money. I literally was within like 20 cents of being able to even get the 4 aces. But my homeboy was like, "Oh, don't crap. He's nothing to worry about. I'll pop the outlet." So he takes 2 pieces of lead, puts it in the electrical outlet, right? He's like, "Nothing. I've done this a million times." He drops the thing across it, right? Boom! It lights up, and the entire wing goes black.
Oh yeah. I've done that too.
Every light for 40 cells, upper and lower, goes dark. I'm like, "Shit, what do we do?" He's like, "We light that cigarette." He's like, "Everyone else is doing the same thing. They'll never know who did it."
Yeah.
But we had a wick that was 80 feet long.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you, man. When it would get down, we'd spin another 80 feet of toilet paper, and so gross.
Isn't that crazy?
The things that you do, man.
And then other people,
you learn from your homeboys.
Yeah, you learn from your homeboys. And some people be like, hey, games to be sold, not told, and they're trying to sell you how to. But I don't know one person who's ever bought a recipe or a how to.
No.
It just gets passed down.
I made a pile of money off of a hookup I got from you.
Yeah.
No joke. Yeah. See, I have a ridiculous memory, right? Or used to anyway. But I was sitting in there one day and I just bought a Sony MP35 radio. And I was like, yeah, when I get to the next yard, I'm getting this thing amped up. And what you do is you pay somebody to take the back off the radio and weld a little piece of metal between 2 points in the back. And it about doubles the amplifier, the amplification on the radio.
It was my hustle for a little while. Yeah.
So Casper goes, yeah, you don't have to do that. I'm like, no, man, I want it louder. He's like, a pencil. So he takes my radio apart and he just starts going back and forth between the 2 little metal things, back and forth. I go, what are you doing? He's like, it'll work just like I put a piece of metal through there. I'm like, nah, sure as shit. It cranked just like I used to pay people $20 to do. So when I got to the next yard, I hung my sign up. Hey, man, you need one of those radios turned on? I got your back, bro.
Pencil lead, man. It's a trip.
It worked.
It's good.
That one blew my mind. But
as good as a solder.
You just watch people like you were the only one that could make fire in the hole because you had so much property that they brought back to you. You were like, I got everything we need for fire. And you're going through each book. One at a time, you're like, pulled out a big sheet of tinfoil. You're like, hold on. Keep going. Inspector Gadget is everywhere in prison, to be sure. Have you guys seen Into the Abyss?
I
seen that movie? I have not. Is that new? I wonder.
No, that's cool. We're getting some stuff to watch. I'm always looking for new things to watch. Into the Abyss. And I'll be honest, it's amazing because I said when I was in there, I would never watch a prison anything when I got out. Oh, yeah.
Like, I would never do that. I didn't watch Cops when I was in. Like, it never made any sense to me. But when I got out, I remember the first time I came across a prison thing on YouTube, and I was like, I couldn't turn it off, man. I really could, especially the stuff I haven't done. Like the custody levels. I'm fascinated by camps. I swear to God. Like, they had cameras running in camps. It's like, holy crap, dude. They get in vans and drive away. Like, we're going into town, boss. We got to go grab.
Dude, my buddy sends me pictures from the camp in whatchamacallit, in Colorado, Inglewood. and he's taking selfies with big jugs of whiskey and his thing, you know. I'm just like,
they don't do
where
time.
are you?
There's a dude in the chat named Bubba, and Bubba and I were in the halfway house together out in Oakland. But he was also at Sheridays, but he was at the camp, and it was so funny because these guys were all in the hole with us, and I was like, what'd you get sent to the hole for? Oh, I got caught drinking. I'm like, yeah, what were you making the wine out of? And he's like, what? I'm like, what were you making the wine out of? He's like, I was drinking Bud Light. Go after yourself, man. Go after yourself. I want to talk to you. You're lucky you're not in my cell, dude.
Yeah.
Bud Light,
Yeah.
man. Do you believe the prisons being able to be private prisons contributes to inmates becoming a dollar sign?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, it's more of a
1000%.
state problem.
Yeah.
It's more of a state problem than it is a Fed problem. Feds are too greedy to let anybody else in on their action. There's only 2 private prisons in the entire federal system.
CCA.
CCA is one of them is a CCA. And you know what's funny as shit about CCA? CCA will always be CCA, but they keep changing the name. I'm not joking. I've been through Pahrump. I've been through Pahrump 3 times, and it was Corrections Corp of America, and then it was Corrections, something else of America. They just
and it was Crossroads before that.
What's that?
It was Crossroads before Corrections Corp. Yeah,
it's insane. But yeah, the whole thing is absolutely an industry. I mean, no matter how you shake it, it's an industry. And even in the feds, where there aren't private prisons per se, you've got Unicor, and Unicor is just it's slave labor, and guys will get on their knees and beg to go to work for 10 cents an hour. And I'm not gonna lie to you, dude, it saved my ass. I was a wreck. And I got a job working in a factory, and all of a sudden it was like I was leaving the pen every day. I wasn't in there. I wasn't dealing with any of that crap. And I worked at the best Unicor anywhere in Terre Haute's Unicor is absolutely remarkable, bro.
Yeah, they got a terry mill there.
It's a terry cloth mill. That's the terry cloth mill. That's the best. It's honestly, it is the best gig in the world. And I had towels. You probably did too when you were there. Yeah. Everybody in prison is using towels that look a little bit bigger than a postage stamp. And we were making these puppies that you could put on the floor of your cell and cover the entire floor.
You could have
until you get caught with it. Yeah, man.
I would have those guys sew a sheet to a blanket too down there in the sewing part. So it just made it so comfy, and
you make it into a comforter. Yeah, there's so many households. That was a great gig.
Did you guys?
So I have a special bond with a gentleman by the name of Q Casper. Can you think of a person in prison that there's a guy that my boy's still in. He's doing life, but we're working really hard on getting him out. Is there anybody that I've literally got sober off of this guy? Without him, I'd still be wasted. So that was a really big thing, and everybody kind of knows that story. Got any of those people that dramatically changed your life from the inside?
No.
Not really. But I've met some real men inside that have taught me how to have been an example of what a man does and looks like and how they carry themselves. Yeah.
That's why you have so many people that respect, because if you're brought up right, you're taken under somebody's wing and they're right, then that transfers to you, and that's what you learn.
Yep.
So I've had some great mentors.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's an awful lot that you can learn if you're paying attention back there. Not every person that goes to prison is a scumbag, to be sure. Honestly, there's a lot of people that just that make a mistake, and I met a lot of really great dudes back there. I also met a lot of real.
You see the worst of the worst.
The worst of the worst. In my own opinion. Okay.
I want to add a comment to this comment about tattooers end up playing the role of confessor. Uh-huh. That is 1000%. And I just want to share a quick story. There's this, I have a client that, cause I'm by appointment only. And she's one of my exceptions. She can call me same day. And even if I don't have an opening, I'll stay late or come in early for her. And what happens is I'll start tattooing her, and about a half hour into the tattoo, she'll start bawling. and she'll cry and she'll cry. And then, I'll stop and I'll just like talk to her about whatever she's got going on. Give her a hug and then, finish the tattoo. And that is her therapy. She can't see a therapist anymore because something happened. And, that's her story to tell. But she absolutely uses, her tattoo time with me as therapy. And that's just one example. I mean, but yeah, everyone, I know all my clients who are friends and clients. I know all their stuff,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that wholeheartedly. And there's something super therapeutic about getting drilled. There really is. There's something about that, about spending an hour and a half of under a kind of pain that takes your brain off of everything else.
You sleep awesome that day.
Everything, for real. Yeah. I love getting tattooed. I've said it a million times. And my brother used to say this. He thinks that there's an industry for going in and tattooing people without ink. You know what I mean? For real. Just having somebody go in and go, all right, dude, blast this out, but I want you to do it in disappearing ink. Put that 2-day stuff in there, Because honestly, I get to a point where I'm itching to just get under the gun. Like, I really like that feeling.
Roberta.
Russ, how's the puppy and work?
Well, you saw her. She's doing good. And work is killing me. But
and somebody earlier said that they were looking for a date, apparently, Russ. And it was a woman this time.
I'm listening.
Yeah,
I'm listening.
I know what you're doing, you low life. You're not fooling anybody.
I need coffee.
He's trying to set me up.
My wife is setting you up. Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah,
the Quibs dating service.
Right.
Well, how about that?
Talking about we need to get you in skis and a jumpsuit or something like that with a big hat. Go skiing in front of Reese.
Got a whole plan for you, has she?
Oh, she does. She got a plan for you.
Oh, that's perfect. Thinking about getting my late husband's name tattooed, but I am not a big fan of pain. Where is the spot that hurts the least if I decide to do it? You want to go right here, right? You want it to no pain at all, right here on your side. Middle of your back's pretty easy. I found the top of my foot to be pretty.
That's not true.
No, it's not. Don't listen to him.
Honestly, my arms didn't hurt. My shoulders didn't hurt. When it starts getting around the elbow or the armpit, it starts getting real dicey. My brother's got the whole tip of his elbow done, and he seemed to really enjoy that.
The web.
Top of my foot was an adventure. My ankle was an adventure, but the one on the side, oh God! The second they started it, and it was one of those. This tattoo artist, Casper will remember him. His name was Scooby, but he started out with the outline, and he went and did like this big, huge thing. It was like the outline of the face. And had he not done that, I would have gone, that's it, it's a wrap. It's so bad that when he got done, I was like, dude, are we close to done? And he goes, yeah, everything but her hair. And I was like, you can leave her, bro. For real. I'll call her Sinead. I'm totally
give her a mohawk and that's it.
I'll tell people it was a friend of mine that was a dude. It doesn't even have to be a girl anymore. I don't care. I want this to be over. I did it during the Super Bowl in prison, right? So you got a guy sitting on the stairs watching for you, or as they say inside, shooting jiggers, right? Mm-hmm. Sitting there looking to make sure that if a cop starts coming, they do the woo-hoo, right? And everybody, you put up what you're doing. It's not really like you're sneaking everything because the cops know what's going on, but it's a respect thing. You're not throwing it out in their face, right? But every single time they yelled, we had to put all this up, and all of your endorphins that have been kicking while they're drilling on your side, they all go away. And your shirt's back on, and then you wait until the guy's back in the office. It's 10 minutes, and you got to set everything back up. And I take the shirt back off, and he starts drilling, and the pain is like, I hated him. By the time it was done, I wanted to take him off the planet. Macy says, I have 3 tats, and I want to get more. That's odd. Normally, when people get to 2 or 3, that's I'm kidding. I can't.
Oh, and they're addicting. I tattooed this. I don't know. She's 74 or something. She had me fix this one little flower on her wrist and just add some stuff. She's been back 5 times in the last 2 months. She says her husband can't believe it. She's slowly 74.
There's I don't know if it's still there because I haven't been there in a hot minute on account of prison. but there used to be a tattoo shop in New Orleans called Itchin' for Ink. And I always thought it was the greatest name in the world because it's one of those things that, like, every time I got a tattoo, I would say, hey, I'm not ever getting another one of these. That one was the last one. And then inevitably, like right now, I'm in the phase right now where I'm thinking, now I want to get some more ink. If the CEO Pretty Boy Shooter ever gets caught, how will his paperwork be viewed by the fellas? Oh, he's just a gangster. That's considered admirable as all get out.
Oh,
he
yeah.
went up and shot a guy. Nobody cares why. Murder is, believe it or not, that's a crime that's considered cool. And that kind of murder, where you just walk up in the morning and pop somebody in the back of the skull.
Yeah, he's a G. He's a G to everyone inside.
Yep.
It absolutely is.
Hey,
how are you? Good to see you.
Something, it's going to be crazy.
Are all prisons loud all the time? Or do you just get used to it? No, not all of them. Most prisons, and this is my experience, and the fellas can tell you theirs, but in my prison experience, at 9 o'clock at night, 9:30 at night, 10 o'clock, depending on the yard, everybody gets quiet as a church mouse.
10 to 10.
Yeah, 10 to 10 is considered, and I've been in some, like with the Unicorn blocks, it was 9 to 9.
Yeah.
But you don't make sound during those hours. Now, the rest of the time, it's loud as hell. The reason that works is because people know that if you're an ass, someone's going to stab you. Right?
Yeah.
Right? You get loud in your cell. You can do it drunk once. Like everybody's heard it. Somebody gets a little, you're like, oh, dude, you can hear, Rudy all night, banging things, kicking the lockers. But everybody gets a pass. But if you do that too often, someone's going to hurt you, right? If you end up in a lockdown unit, if you end up in a 23-1 unit, then it's going to be round the clock screaming and disrespect because you can't stab those people. You're not going to get at them. There's no shot at it. They're all cell warriors. They call you punks and bitches when you walk by their cells because you can't,
I can't stand it.
I can't either, man.
Cell warrior.
Yeah. And the Facebook Messenger warriors and all that, dude, that's out of control too. I just got into it with someone. I told, man, the only reason why you're alive right now is because you're talking to me on Messenger. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, it's amazing. You find this all the time. Yesterday I got an email from a new person that hates me, which is normally doesn't happen. I know most of my haters by name. There's not a huge list of them, but this was a new hater, and they came out with this thing that I did, and I went, "Are you sure you're watching the right channel?" Like I honestly have no clue what you're talking about, but it's very easy, especially if you do this for any length of time. You're going to.
How are they getting a hold of you?
Huh? That Messenger. I mean, I got 4,000 people that follow that follow me on.
Facebook. On Facebook.
On Facebook.
Oh, I'll have to check that out. I haven't checked that out.
Oh, sure. One more way to crap on me. Jump on the bandwagon. I'm kidding. I very rarely get over and look at any of them anymore because it's gotten to the point where, and I know that there's a lot of really kind people who are leaving stuff, but man, I hop out these days, man. I step out of YouTube and I shake the thing off and but I have an awful lot of fun when I'm in here. I really do. I love doing this. I had a ball last Thursday. We had a really good time doing that. If you didn't see it, we were over on the Sean Atwood program.
I wish I was a little more awake, but I will be next time.
I thought you killed it. Analytical Blarney, why thank you. Totally gross and a female. How do you tune out noises? Flatulence, that's gross chewing. This is actually one of the best questions that anyone's ever asked here. I'm not joking. Because I'll tell you something. If you chew with your mouth open and you get in a 23-1 lockdown unit, you got a 50-50 shot of somebody breaking your jaw. I'm serious, man. You can do fine. In the real world, if someone sits across and goes, so, what's your Friday? And go, oh, yeah, I'll talk to you in a bit. If you're in a cell and you can't get away from that, you're going to end up going, bro, this is what's going to happen. You're going to shut your mouth while you chew, or I'm taking you off of planet Earth, man. There's a lot of people walking the streets, I promise you, that I taught how to chew.
Yeah.
I know an NLR dude who's dude, he chews so loud, and like at the breakfast table, down at the chow hall, he just, when he sits down, it's everyone just like, all right, man, yeah, I'll see you later. I mean, and I always stay to talk to him because I don't want him to feel bad, because he's super emotional anyway. But man, he
I
chews.
know RV.
Chews
Super emotional.
Yes, you already know, man.
Yeah.
But most of those guys have been down since they were 4 years old, and
Right.
they just can't get it figured out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that is
But
so foul, man.
some good dudes too, some of them.
Yeah.
They are.
Now, as far as gas goes, that's one of those things. It's just like a marriage. You establish that right off the bat in the cell, and you go, "Hey, are we going to jump down and flush every one of these?" In fact, got a funny story for you. I remember having this conversation. I remember having this conversation with somebody. I'm like, hey, man, are we flushing these things? No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. And about day 3, the guy was working out, going, "Hey, did you just smack me in the head with a stink bat?" I'm like, "Bro, I'm up here."
Those are my exact words. You do have the memory of I don't know what has a good memory. That's my saying. It's stink bat. I was like, "Damn, man, you hit me in the face with the stink bat."
Did you just slap me in the face with a stink bat? I go, I very well could have. Are we flushing these things? He's like, "Might not be a bad idea. Maybe we need to go."
But I have sillies that always compliment me. They'll be like, "Man, Casper," he's like, "You are the most non-odoriferous person I know. I never smell your farts. You don't ever stink. Your breath doesn't stink." And I'm just like, I got lucky that way, because a lot of that's genetic and how people's bodies process stuff. But yeah, I bet you my wife to this day hasn't smelled a fart from me.
You gotta love that. Yeah, Quips could say the same thing, I'm sure. Hey.
Now my daughter.
So you know what? We do need some Night Yard merch. I think that's a hell of an idea. I'll get on my my merch guy, and we should make that happen. I love that.
I have a clothing website, right?
Well, that's my merch guy, right? So
you should start.
I have one. It's called Tat Swag. Yeah.
NASA should hire ex-cons. We'd be kicking it on Mars by now. Or we'd have stopped along the way to steal something.
Yeah. Or we'd be high.
Get high. Morton Fitzel, good to see you. The problem is, honestly, there's a decent chance that the space shuttle wouldn't have had rims on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going, "What do you think I can get for the rims on this thing?" This free ones. Right? Spare tire.
Half a tank of gas.
I heard these heat shields are like $250,000 a piece. We're missing 13 off the back now.
Right, really.
I don't know if I see if that's Bill or if that's his son or something on the picture of there in the uniform. Yeah, thank you for your service if that is you. And but I just want to say to relate it to Night Yard, I always felt all the coolest COs were always ex-military guys.
You're absolutely right.
Hands down.
Well, the older ones.
Yeah. Yep. They were always.
They hire a lot. I would say 80% of the staff in the feds come directly out of the military. They hire a lot of guys coming back and jobs. And a lot of really great guys. I've told this story a couple of times, but I was in the shoe. Every story starts when I was in the shoe at.
I know.
I was in the shoe at Victorville. I was in the segregated housing unit at Victorville for something silly. I got stabbed. But there was the guy, one of the cops came in the morning and unalived himself in the parking lot with his service piece. They carry one and they check it before they come inside. 14 days later, another dude did it in the parking lot. Both of them right before shift started. And honestly, that you would think in prison there'd be guys cracking jokes and doing all of that. There was none of that. I mean, maybe on the yard there was. In the shoe, there wasn't any of it. And maybe it's because we were so damn close to the parking lot. But that ad seg is way up front at that yard. We rely on numbers stored on our phones. So if you don't have any memorized or the name of a lawyer, do you have to wait until you get assigned a public defender to get loved ones to know where you are? You can make a call, collect. If they will give you your cell phone and they will let you write numbers down out of it. They've always done that for me anyway. And usually, here's the thing though, I'm not a rabbit. Like I never have been. I don't know if you guys run, but I've always, if you got me, you got me. I'm not jumping out of the car and running. Shit.
Yeah, no, I don't do that either.
And I'm not going to kill anybody with my automobile because I'm a thief. I'm not going to drive 100 miles an hour. Even when I robbed banks, I drove away like slowly. I just never been that guy, I guess. But
and Con Air, you so like when you travel from prison to prison, you can't take anything, an address book or anything, but you can take your property sheet.
And they level it down with numbers.
And yeah, my property sheet was always just numbers, email addresses, any
I
any
could go get
information.
one right now and show it to you.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
I still have a couple of them because every time you travel, like you'd meet people at Oklahoma City and you'd run into old homeboys that you haven't seen. And, Oklahoma City's really weird, people. When you get on Con Air and you fly into Oklahoma City or you fly to Atlanta, you go into a holdover, like a prison hotel until the next plane comes in a couple of days or whatever. And you're in a normal unit, but you're in a unit with 180 guys that are going to 180 different places. And you always end up running into people that you did time with. Or if you haven't, you're going to run into somebody and you go, hey, where are you coming from? I just left Terre Haute. Oh, no shit. I know a bunch of people. And you start. It's also how you find out pieces of garbage are pieces of garbage. How many times you come rolling in from somewhere and go, hey, guess what?
Yeah.
That dude, no bueno.
Yeah.
No, it's a small world in there, man.
Yep.
You gotta tell whoever's in that car. You gotta let them know, hey man, that dude's from San Diego or wherever.
Yep.
One of your dudes, he's dirty.
And they're always just like, oh, people get heartbroken, man.
Yeah, they do.
Like, oh man, that breaks my heart, man.
Yep.
Yep.
Because you're gonna lose a couple, just over some piece of trash.
Dave, Tommy is never lying. What are you talking about? Can you get heated toilet seats in prison? Because I gotta have one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
I remember those on store where they were $46 on store.
Yeah,
they got them. I can't remember.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
No, honestly, oddly enough,
Yeah.
you may not believe this, but oddly enough, I did once use a heated toilet seat in prisons. I had been stingering the toilet.
Oh
and that metal was lovely.
I always put toilet paper down, and I've never got a cold butt. Yeah.
Oh God, Lewisburg was incredible. I'm not kidding you. I'll get demonetized, and a lot of people, but this isn't a family show. I'm going to say some offensive stuff. You've been warned, but I got to go here because it's one of the funniest stories ever. I had a really weird cellie. I've told the story about this guy a lot. He's dead, Donald Scott Taylor, but he was a cannibal. He chewed the ears off of people. He was a really weird guy that I lived with for about 13 years, and we didn't have 13 months. We didn't have a great relationship, but we coexisted. But I got up on the coldest night in the history of humanity. It was like 6 degrees Kelvin, right? And I got up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom. Now, keep in mind, at Lewisburg, the windows, I shit you not, are 9 feet tall, right? And you could open them. You could roll them out, and they would go this way. Really, it was a really old building. But the windows have been broken out, right, since John Gotti was a teenager.
Yeah.
And it is so cold, you cannot wrap your brain around it, right? It's the middle of January. So you're in a concrete box with no windows in the middle of January. So I got up to use the restroom. The water comes from a water tower, right? That says Lewisburg on it, which is right next to the prison. So this water is sitting in 17-degree air in a big stainless ball thing that looks like an onion. To make a long story short, the water on top of the toilet had frozen. And I was having one of those days, and when I sat down, I actually part of me caught the ice, and I made a noise that you would have had to have been there to fully appreciate. And I'm not kidding you. My cellmate rolled over, right? My cellmate rolled over and said, "What, did your balls land on the ice?" From a dead sleep, I went, "They did." He goes, "That's a bummer." And then he rolled over and went to sleep. And at breakfast, I swear to God, at breakfast, he went, "Something happened last night with your nuts on the ice?" I said, "Yeah, it did." He goes, Good. Thought I dreamed it. There you go. Demonetized me. I probably lost a few subscribers, but that happened. It was pretty fun.
Yeah. Disgusting.
Right.
Oh, yeah. So if you have multiple convictions, a mixed bag, is there a ladder or hierarchy of crimes? If you have multiple unalives, one CS. Yeah, so if you have one bad crime, it doesn't matter how many honorable crimes you have. It's not like they go, well, he touched a kid, but on the bright side, he robbed 40 banks. He's one of us.
Yeah.
If you have anything,
made bridges your whole life, but yeah,
within reason, there are things that you can get. There are gray area crimes. A kid that's 19, whose wife was 17, and they got a divorce, and they end up going to court over that stuff. There's weird crimes that, where you could get a human being to look at it. But if you did something that's jacked up, you're jacked up. It's all bad. You're in deep trouble.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what.
And it's usually better if the person you unalive is the same sex. Like guys, you'll get guys who are salty if they find out you killed a woman.
Yeah.
I mean, some guys don't care what you do anyway, but there are certainly some people that don't take kindly to the if you bumped off of a woman thing.
This one's a good one.
Yes, it is. Open that up for us, Russ.
I've been in 2, 3, if I can
3 of them.
remember.
Damn.
Yeah, and you definitely have to participate. If you don't participate, you're going to be moving out the next day too, or that night.
Mhm.
Absolutely, to be sure. There's not a lot of sense of humor about that.
Yep.
No, and there's a lot of.
You are told.
Go ahead, Russ.
You're booted up. You're laced up. You're ready to rock.
Mhm.
National Geographic's your best friend, and you've got something that can equal, everyone else. So, and then there was one that happened the night that I left. I talked to my cellie, and he was, of course, a shot caller, and he said he didn't want me to go out to the yard too late. So at the last night yard or call, it was like 9 o'clock. They popped the doors every hour. So I came in at 9 o'clock, or I was coming out. Which one? I can't remember which one it was, but as soon as the doors shut, it popped off at 9 o'clock between the whites and the Mexicans. So they had the locks down. And I was going home the next morning. I'd maxed out. They couldn't hold me.
Yeah.
So without a new charge, so he didn't want me to get a new charge.
Nice.
Yeah. We
do that for each other. For absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
Absolutely.
we should, but I've seen it go the other way.
Oh, me too.
Oh, bye.
Yeah.
But and here's the deal. Like if you say, "Oh, I got caught at the metal detector,"
Yeah,
I wasn't able to make it out. There's absolutely no excuse.
There's absolutely no excuse. None.
You need to stab a cop to get to the riot. If you have to, that's what you got to do.
That's right.
If you better show up.
You better show up, or just check in. You better show up.
Check in.
I've seen 2 riots, and I say I've seen 2 riots because one I was in, but it was a white against black thing, and I was not gang affiliated, but I was in a cell house that had the old building was done up in such a way that basically I was along for the ride. They put a couple of pieces in and taped them, and an old man on the way out said to me, he goes, "Bro, stab somebody really quick." He's like, "You ain't got to try to kill him, but stab somebody really quick." He's like, "Get some blood on your ass and then try to find a nice place to hide toward the outside." Mm-hmm. Right. And it was a great piece of advice. And when it was all over, I did almost basically that until a dude tried to stab me. And then I take it very personally and actually got kind of intimately involved in the affair. But when we all got brought back in there, and thank you, man. They laid all of us down on the ground and did the normal routine. But we got back in, and everybody there had cuts, bruises, like it was bad. And we were in these little quads. Dude. And there's a kid sitting there that looked like he just got out of a dry cleaners. I swear to you, this kid was cleaned and pressed. He didn't have a mark on him. He's about 22, and he went, "Wow, I was a bitch, huh?" And everybody went,
"Yeah, yeah."
You look good, dude. You look really good. Right. Where exactly were you? Oh yeah,
that is the best though. When everyone's back in the shoe and you're telling, replaying the riot, and you're just like, "Man, that was crazy. Would you see so and so?" And then like, "Man, no, that was super nuts." And there's always that guy who's like, "Yeah, man, I made a painting. I Picasso'd that guy's face." There's always it's so much. Yeah, because everyone's adrenaline so high. Yeah, and everyone's just talking. I just got my ear to the door, listening, man.
Because guys, the same expressions. Dude, beat the bark off of them, beat the brakes off.
Yeah.
Dude, there was brake pedals and brake fluid everywhere. It was ugly. You wouldn't have believed it.
Yeah.
And then the other one, the other riot, I literally got to be a witness on. I was in Navajo B, right when the riot broke off between the blacks and the Mexicans.
Yeah.
And it wasn't between blacks and Mexicans. It was between blacks and Paisas, which is a smaller sect of the crew. And I'm just keeping it real. They tend not to go more than about 5'6". Like Tom Cruise would be a huge Paisa, right? Like he'd be a basketball playing Paisa. They just don't tend to be very tall individuals. And it was the funniest crap I ever saw in my life because the blacks that we had in our unit were all massive. And it looked like, honestly, it was cartoonish. You know, it was just these big, like 6'5" tall black dudes fighting all these guys that were like 5'4" and flinging dudes around. The only score of the day was the Pisces dropped a microwave off of the guy from the second tier. You know how at Black Canyon you went up to that first tier, like where you'd run somebody upstairs? Okay, right there they had the microwaves. Mexican dropped one off the top. And the funny thing is it hit the dude and he went, kind of squatted down a little bit and it fell to the ground and he looked up and that dude ran. It was the funniest. And the cop goes, lock it down. And I go to move. And he goes, lock it down. I go, I live downstairs, bro. I am in the furthest cell in the corner. And he goes, just go in there. So I was in Richard Laffey's cell. So it was me and Richard Laffey and his cellmate. I almost got it.
I know who you're talking about.
It's got a name that if you say it wrong, it sounds like a woman's name, but it's a guy's name. Dominic.
I can't remember.
Dominic.
Dominic. I love Dominic.
Me too.
He
Great
wanted
dude.
to be Japanese.
Yeah, great dude.
He's super obsessed with Japan and like Japanese culture.
Japanese culture. He was and he was another dude that needed to spend a little bit more time working out. You know what I mean? Maybe work on his abs a little bit. I said to him, if I had your abs, I would tattoo a Bud can on every single ab.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he looked like he had 6 beers in his stomach. He was a circus freak.
Yeah.
I did P90X. And when I was done doing P90X in the sun every day for 6 months, I stood next to him and it was like, you know, being at the urinal next to John Holmes. You know, we went into the waist pile, he took his shirt off. I'm like, put your shirt back on, dude, or I'm just going back to the unit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I tattooed a dragon on him.
Yeah, that was you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's beautiful work, man.
Yeah. Yep.
Got a big old dragon on him.
Yeah, he's got a Japanese fiance. And
yeah, he did, for sure. He's from Vegas. Good dude, man. Really solid dude. Say a person forgets to turn his alarm clock off. Will the CO turn it off or let it run all day and piss off others? The guy that lives next door to you, will probably walk in there and turn off your alarm. He'll probably grab a guy to do it with him or another dude. Usually, as long as you take 2 or 3 guys to do anything you do, you're good. Right?
Yep.
Like if you're going to talk to a cop, bring 2 guys with you. That way they don't think you walked up to the cop and said, hey, can I get some toilet paper? Casper's making tattoo ink.
Yeah. Hey, and at the pen, that's super serious, man.
That will get you killed.
Yeah, you better bring someone.
Nobody ever had an alarm clock in the state.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Yeah.
Convicts must make good housemates after they're released. You learn manners and you learn to be clean. Well, there's a story that John Harden, the old cowboy in the Wild West, shot a bunch of people for snoring. He was not a big fan of having somebody that snored. I could live with a dude that snored, right? But there are people that freak out about it, like literally freak out about it. But I do think that convicts tend to make good roommates. Honestly, you know, you learn the biggest lesson in prison, in my opinion, is that you have to learn to live with people that you hate. Right? You're going to get cellmates. Every once in a while, you get a great cellmate and you'll be like, oh, dude, when you do time with somebody and the person that you're living with is not, you don't dislike him, the time goes by like that. Like we did 6 months in the friggin' hole and that time went by quick.
That was easy.
I mean, it really was. It was easy time and we did it in the shoe. It shouldn't have been.
We laughed a lot.
We did. We laughed all day, dude. And we also had a lot of really funny things happen that helped it. Like those drunk dudes that they brought into the back. That was a great show.
Yeah.
That was awesome. The guy's kicking a hole through the fence. Like destroying property so that he could get next door so he and his friends could eat together. Yeah. And then when they said to him, you're getting written up for that, he proceeded to use that tray as a toilet.
Yeah.
And the best part is they're not going anywhere. They got to go right to where we are. So the next day you can hang out with them and go, tough job on crapping on that tray.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe you went a bit off sides on that. You know, maybe neck it in just a little bit. Retired military, Bill Herrera says. Bill, thank you for your service, man. That is appreciated.
Yes,
I mean that. Oh my God, mouth sounds. I promise you I physically murdered you in my mind if I hear your mouth make sounds with food. I have to wear headphones to you and my boyfriend to muffle the sounds. Oh my God. That is awful. Oh no. You need to
Yeah.
upgrade. Thank you, my friend. I mean that.
Awesome, Bill. That's
You
dope.
need
Thank you
to
for your service.
upgrade, love, but you have to upgrade.
Yeah, he
Oh,
looks
no.
good, man. I know
Listen to how
a
this is
bunch of
said.
Herreras in I'm one of my best friends, Damian Herrera. Yeah, I know Ronnie Herrera too. It's two separate families, but yeah, always have been good dudes. I mean, you know.
I will absolutely ninja roll out of a room to get away from the sounds. I've literally abandoned my own lunch before now. Okay, listen, no joke. I have had cellmates where wait a second. You and I had this cellmate, the Utah kid. He came in at the first tray. He went like this.
Yeah.
Looked at Casper. Casper looked at me. I was like, I got this, dude. Don't worry, I got this. I was like, kid, bro, seriously, have you ever been laid? Because if you did, you did it without going out to dinner first. I mean, I promise you, you freaking
I remember that.
idiot. You know, we need to do an R-rated version of this show because you clowned this kid. You clowned this kid. Yeah, you clowned this kid 2 or 3 times. That was so funny. But I know that if I told it here, number one, I would probably get.
There's so many things you want to talk about. You can't say.
We should do a Patreon version.
Yeah, we really should. I don't. You know, your memory is not as good as my memory is. But there was a story that you told this kid about you working at a hardware store, and a girl, and the whole thing leads up right to this sexual part of this story. And the kid goes, "Oh my God!" He's like, "Yeah, my girl did that to me." And as soon as he did, Casper goes, "Yeah, that never happened, you lowlife." He's like, "But I knew you were that." I laughed for an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah,
poked with the back end of a screwdriver or something along the lines of that. It was the funniest thing I ever did. And we picked on the kid till he left. He was happy to go to the penitentiary and check.
Oh man, yeah, which he made
it 45 minutes apparently. He got to the yard and they said to him, "Hey, you're putting work in tomorrow." He went, "Okay," and then he walked over and checked in. Adding to Bill Herrera's mantra and send ex-cons to steal stuff out of the atmosphere. No more Liv Tyler and Armageddon. Don't want to close my eyes. It would be an upgrade. It would be an upgrade. That's
Liv didn't age well.
No, you know what? That's a shame.
Yeah.
She was lovely for a time.
Yeah, Alicia Silverstone, she was awesome too, but she's not aging well either.
You know, some do, some don't. You know the moral of the story,
because I'm Frankenstein, but
the moral of the story. Thank you, Analytical Blarney. The moral of the story is don't fight that crap because honestly, you're not going to look good. I think that Pamela Anderson, when Pamela Anderson was on Baywatch, I didn't think she was attractive. Pamela Anderson has decided to forego everything. She's not wearing makeup. She's not doing any of it. And I think she looks great. I swear to God,
she looks good.
Really?
Somebody showed me a picture of her and I went, "That is not Pamela Anderson." They said it is. I said, "Good for her, man. Honest to God, good for her." I love that.
Do you remember what's his name, sister? Oh man, Justine Bateman.
Oh, yes, they do.
Yeah.
Have you seen? I had the biggest crush on her, man.
Everybody had the biggest crush on her.
She doesn't do plastic surgery or anything, and I mean she looks 90 years old.
Really? The Ballad of what was the name of that movie she did? The Ballad of I can't remember. I can't believe I can't remember the name of that. But yeah, I liked her. I really liked her.
Yeah, she went out with Leif Garrett, by the way.
Have you seen Leif Garrett recently?
No, but I'm a fan of Leif Garrett.
I am too. I love Leif Garrett. My brother and I talked about
Bridget Fonda is like, what?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Bridget Fonda. I'll tell you what, though, to her credit, Bridget Fonda definitely didn't. Yeah, I'm not even going to go there.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be mean, but what is going on? But she married someone super rich and super. She doesn't need to. I can't remember who. It's like some big, huge movie producer. But she looks.
She's like 180 pounds. And
yeah, she must love Ben and Jerry's or something. I don't know what the deal is.
She might have a cheeseburger habit. I'm not trying to be.
I mean, I've been 300 pounds, so I get it. You know.
Well, have I? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
For foreigners with no connections in the U.S., do the jails help them out in any way, like calling their embassy, or do they make it hard? You know something? I couldn't answer this because it's never happened to me. What I can tell you is I watched a kid come into the county jail I was in and did not speak an word of English. And I can't imagine the terror of going someplace where you didn't speak any of the language and get thrown into a jail. I mean, and everybody was cool as hell to this dude, but he was miserable. Like he had the look on his face like you used to get when mom disappeared in the grocery store. You know, you look around and mom wasn't there. That was the look on this dude's face. Moral of the story: leave Silverstone alone. You know something? But wait a sec. I was. What was the name of the Stacey Dash? Looks like $1 million.
Oh yeah.
And she
yeah. No, I think Alicia still looks pretty good.
She does.
I mean,
after I watched her,
like I said, I'm
get her child out of her mouth like a bird.
I have no authority to say either of. Like I said, I look like Frankenstein with my hat off. So
no, you do.
I know.
I'm kidding. No, but seriously, you do. We leaving her alone is not a bad idea. Leif Garrett does look 95, but I think
does he really?
No, yeah, he really looks. He does look like he's been rolling hard and put away wet.
But he killed it in the 70s. I'll give him that.
He was Justin Bieber long before Justin Bieber was Justin Bieber.
Yeah,
you know, he really was. He was that real big. Every single girl in America had a picture of him on the wall, kind of thing.
Yep.
What happens to men that try to unalive a woman? Asking for myself because he's still stalking me after 30 plus years. You got an address? Man.
Wow.
You got an address? He needs the wood chipper.
Yeah.
There's no respect for anybody that does that. That's
nope. Not with stalking and all that. Nope. No stalkers allowed.
Nope.
Yeah.
You know, I've actually met that Jared guy from Subway.
Yeah.
Because he was from here. He was from
really?
Northside Indy. Yeah.
Yep.
And he come walking into a bar I was playing pool at on my pool league years ago, and was shaking everybody's hand. I just couldn't do it. I mean, there was just something about the guy that.
Yeah, you got the vibe.
Yeah.
I did get to shake the hand of the guy that punched him in the face.
Did you?
Yeah. The first guy, he got roughed up several times, but the guy that punched him the first time, the guy that they leaked the name of and put him on TMZ.
Yeah,
I met him in Oklahoma City. Actually, we were going through the transfer center at the same time, and he was telling the story. And I said to him, "No joke." I go, "I'm not trying to be a dick, but you're the third person who's told me that they're the guy that punched Jared from Subway." And he goes, "How many people have you have put money on your books, different last names?" And I go, 5. And he's like, "How long you been down?" I'm like, 8 years. He's like, "Come here, dude." And he took me over to his over to the computers because you can pull the crap up. Yeah. And his books were $5, $10, $5, $10. I mean, there was 1,000 names of people on there.
Oh, that's cool, man.
TMZ put his prison ID up with his reg number and everything. And the guys just were like, good for you. Here, have a 5 spot, man.
Yeah.
Have a 5 spot. Watermelon Moonshine says, yes, shoot. I love Leif Garrett, and I was a subscriber to Tiger Beat magazine. Well, that does help.
Look at this. Look at that.
Oh, you know what? Mine's probably around here somewhere.
Yeah. And the only reason why I have hair is because when I did the transfer, I was in the shoe for 9 months.
Let me think. I think I got mine here too.
Is that even clear?
I got it laying around here. I saw it this morning. I don't know where it is right now. I do have one laying around.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Except I don't have my red one. I got my unicorn. I threw that red one out, man.
Oh yeah.
I probably had about 4 of them.
Look at that guy.
Holy hell, dude. Holy hell. What, you 16 when they locked you up on that one?
No, man. I was like 21.
Oh man, you look young.
Yeah. And tan.
The good old days, man.
Dude, you know you're tan.
Right? And yoked up.
Yep.
Do any of you gentlemen ever talk to troubled youth? I do my part. I try to get them troubled as much as possible.
I have before.
I used to. I used to talk twice a month at addiction centers here, and there was always some couple of younger guys. And I try to sponsor guys when I can if I'm doing the meeting thing, but I don't do the meeting thing consistently enough, and I'm a terrible sponsor because I'm so busy. I tell them to text me every morning, or try to keep track of them, and they all go back out, for the most part. But and then all I can do is just say a prayer for them, and hopefully God changes their their desires. Yeah, their desires.
We know how it is.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna have to see this. You see this? We're getting the. Please show that again, and please put your hand behind it. They did not get. Do you know what they mean by that? So you put your hand like this, and it'll black everything out so that they can actually get a better look at your.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can't really see anything.
Let's see here.
Yeah, I have my autofocus on.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, look at Russ, man. Yeah, you look good, brother.
Thank you, dog.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Unicorn, baby. I was actually going to make a thumbnail of my unicorn badge this morning. I'm pretty damn proud of it.
That was like your one at Vacaville, wasn't it? Did Tommy?
What's your number?
E54045.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know, 48 number, and they're all fours before that. I'm not even joking. You remember my number? 44, 44, 4. I was all fours. My entire back number was 4. Every time I would go in there, they'd be like, "What's your number?" 44444. They'd be like, "You got to be kidding."
My Montana state number is 36666.
Do you know what's crazy? So I was 44444.
Hated that number.
I was 4444048, and Rocky Miller, who was in my unit, was 4444058. So,
oh wow.
So when I went away, my last name was Miller. So when I go up to the first day to call out, and I'm looking down, and I'm like 444, shit, right? So I go up and I do my thing. The next day I look down, I'm like, I'm on there again. So I go up there, and he and I are the last 2 people waiting in there. And she's like, Miller. We both stand up, and she's like, no, 444. I'm like, yeah, that's me. And he's like, it can't be. And then I show him my ID. He goes, God, we're a digit off. He's like, I've been in that unit for 13 years, son. You're gonna have to find a new place to live. He's probably still there too. You know what had to be hell, dude? That cat lived he worked at Unicor. This is at Black Canyon, and his wife was in the women's camp.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine being 150 yards away from your wife and not being able to see her for 20 years?
Well, if they worked outside with what you call it, the Land's End or Land's Out, where they go outside. You remember they used to walk in that back fence?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that Puerto Rican that Puerto Rican cat got caught gunning him from the gunning him down from the tennis courts. He had a $100 bill in his head.
They'd be like this big. If you're at the tennis court,
said.
Yeah, they're like that big, and it's just like, and they're all dressed in green. Like you're jerking off to a green little tiny person, 200 yards away.
Literally. And then and the best part of that story is, no joke, he's got his tunes in, right? He's rocking it out, doing his thing, right? Doing this one. They came up and tapped that fool on the shoulder. Like they literally walked up and went, "What are you doing?" Yeah. Is it time to head back to the unit? He had a $100 bill. He had a $100 bill blasted on his head. Yeah. Right above it, it said "pimp." I thought to myself, you don't want to get caught rubbing one out on a yard with a big $100 bill and the word "pimp" above it. Because whenever someone would say dinner, I'd go, "Oh, gotta tell you about a friend of mine." Puerto Rico.
Jeez.
Unicor made all of our office supplies for the military, amongst other things. Yep. Tommy, you made my Skillcraft pens. No. I made uniforms. I made the blouses for the men's Air Force. That was my line was that. And then, no joke, about a month before they transferred me, they brought in a whole new line, 20 new machines, everything else. We were expanding the size of the factory, and we were going to be doing SEAL stuff for when the SEALs went out on missions. So this is like black, like combat practice stuff. Yeah, exactly. I thought you gotta be kidding. You're gonna let convicts make this stuff? Yeah,
and guys were making gloves out of the stuff and hats and because they used to make the parachutes for the mailbags too.
Yep.
There, and the guys were making something out of that parachute material, and I can't remember what it was.
It's indestructible, man. It's
But,
indestructible.
Yeah, but they make mailbags.
So that's the yard I was on with Drew Peterson, and Drew bought a shirt, right, for like $200. He bought a shirt that a guy made out of that stuff that was black. You need a black shirt in prison. Yeah, that was it. Bye-bye. They kicked him out of the feds for that, sent him back to the States. So now he's has to be PC'd. He was hiding out in the feds. He was loving it.
Yeah. When they do that, they usually have like a AAA number or a reg number. I can't remember. There's a way to tell.
Oh, well, I'll tell you one of the ways to tell. Like I did time at FCI Tucson. And when I got there, there were like 40 dudes who the last 3 digits on their card was 010. And I'm like, 010. Yeah. So I asked, at the time I was still married to I almost said her name. You know who?
Yeah.
I was at the time I was still married to somebody that could pull up anything from the Fed system. And I'm like, what where is 010? And she's like, there's not an 010. I'm like, oh no, there's an 010. I'm like, it's on people's shirts. I've seen 9 of them. And she's like, I wouldn't talk to those boys if I were you.
Yeah.
Like, maybe don't have any conversations with those guys about anything important. But yeah, the other thing, like sometimes you don't use your dome. I ripped up a bunch of sheets when I was, and I made it into a rope. And the idea was I was going to jump rope with it. But my God, dude, they found that crap, and it was I was making a rope to climb down out of the
rope. Yep.
They got all kinds of serious about it.
Yep.
Hey, that's not very nice, man. I don't mean that Drew in. I'm saying that it's not nice to douchebags.
Yeah.
Narcissistic. I know a lot of narcissistic douchebags that would really take offense to that. No, he really is an evil dude, man. He really is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Watermelon Moonshine says, I have a Pomeranian Russ. I don't know if I've ever seen a Pomeranian Russ.
No, I've never seen one either.
Well, Watermelon Moonshine wants a crim, Russ.
Well,
back-to-back women, you're batting 1,000.
No, I know.
Hard to go wrong.
Hey.
You know what? We should end on a high note. We can end with that one. People,
all right.
We are going to be back next week. Thank you for staying up late. No, you know what? We got Russ is actually on Newfoundland time. So it's like he's on. Honestly, we had a guy that we used to have come on the lifeboat that was one time zone over. They were Canadian, so it wasn't East Coast. It was that.
Really?
Time or whatever.
Yeah.
But Russ is that hardworking man that actually. Not like us laid back YouTubers.
I know you guys.
I know. I'm on my first cup of coffee for the night.
I know, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Just I'm only 2 hours ahead of you guys.
Well, and that Casper, you got your work cut out for you. And now between now and the next time I see you people, I'm going to go learn more about what happened with Jay-Z than anybody else in America. And
that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, you are. And this right here, that's a cat in a basket, everybody.
Oh, wow. That's right, gorgeous.
Squirrel nut zip. Squirrel, you happy with me?
Where's my cat?
I know.
My cat's outside somewhere eating mice.
Yeah, you know something? No. Squirrel only catches one mouse. She has a catch and release program. She has a friend that's a mouse. And she catches him. She catches him all the time. Occasionally, she'll actually bring him in from the garage. Usually, she just plays with him out there. But if I'm not paying attention, she'll carry him in and be like, hey, check it out. She drops it and it runs around.
Yeah.
And then we got to catch it and put it back in the garage, but she doesn't kill it.
My cat brings in baby rabbits, little baby rabbits, and the rabbit will start crying in the middle of the night, and we'll go take it outside, or it's nuts.
There's a million of those baby rabbits in Arizona, but you know that. You lived at Black Canyon. They're everywhere here. They're everywhere here.
I lived in Black.
That mouse is an adrenaline junkie. I'm not sure that the mouse is super into it, but it's more the cat's idea. But the last couple of times, I'm not even kidding you, the cat the mouse kind of gave me a look like, all gummed up and wet, but not injured. I mean, the cat is very gentle. So it's just sitting there sort of gummed up with a look on its face like, how the F did this happen to me? All right, folks. I will see all of you on the next one between now and analytical blarney.
Thanks, guys. Awesome questions tonight.
Educating our high school youth in the morning. Sleep well. It's a hard time of year. My Instagram and Discord are the same name. If you need someone, I'm always here. The boat saves. Thank you. Analytical Blarney, you're a star. You really are. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And it is that time of year. We'll be putting up a lot of content each and every day because this time of year can be tough. All right.
All right.
See you all on the next one. Thank you, gentlemen. It's always an honor.
Thank you. Good night, Russ.
Right.
Good night.